I mentioned a bit ago that I might do a video about this game, about how it might be my favorite game of all time, about how it was darkly, darkly depressing, and a story about the cruelty of humanity. Everyone in the audience, the moment I've been waiting for since October of 2020 to present to someone about something, today I bring you a video about something from Mother 3. What deserves such a grandiose introduction? The ending sequence featuring a tale of two brothers, the fantastic symbolism of Newport City and the Empire Porky building. How about Flint's human and real reaction to Hanawa's death? The existential dread of Porky's fate that stuck with me when I was younger. Please tell me you're talking about the ghosts with the stinky breath from Osoi Castle guy. I'm begging you. No, 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 no. What deserves this fanfare is none other than this fucking monkey who takes part in one of my favorite scenes in any video game ever. This guy right here, Little Salsa. This character does not have a single line of dialogue, and yet he's in the running for one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. Only surpassed by that hand in the toilet from Zelda games. Toilet hand. I know that sounds awfully strange, the monkey part, not the toilet hand part, which sounds perfectly normal, of course, but bear with me. Salsa represents a lot in the story of Mother 3, and he's honestly one of the most potent allegories for what he represents that I've ever experienced, due to how video games operate as a medium. Since you are playing as him, and you are putting yourself in his shoes, the messages are communicated even more clearly than it would be through text or through video. This monkey represents the exploitation of the working class under the powers of capital, and by putting this exploitation in the context of a video game where you're supposed to be safe from this kind of discussion, where you are comfortable, you realize truly how much it permeates and affects everyone. At least I did when I first played it. I'll get this out of the way first. If you've played Mother 3, then you probably won't be shocked to hear that I got really strong anti-capitalist vibes from the whole thing. Newport City, a location constructed by the main villain who has slaughtered a bunch of people over the course of the game, has everything monetized to the point of being vapid, empty entertainment seeking. The game goes from an idyllic commune where everyone contributes as much as they can and want to a dystopian consumerist society where individuality is sacrificed. I mean, there's literally a section of the game where you play through tricking people into becoming materialistic. The segment that directly follows that is what we'll be talking about today. Now let me get this straight. Salsa the monkey is not evil. He's a cute baby monkey with a fat face. Salsa only helps spread the evils that Facade wants him to because the Pig Mask army has his girlfriend hostage, and if he doesn't obey Facade, then she might as well be dead. This is similar to how so many people in real life can't fight back against capitalism or even really be educated against the brainwashing they've been indoctrinated into their whole life because of what they stand to lose for doing so. You can lose your entire livelihood for retaliating against the oppressive systems of the world through being fired, and if you're fired from your job, you can't exactly take care of the people who matter most to you. Human compassion is very powerful, and monkey compassion is scientifically 10 times as powerful as human compassion. I think Jane Goodall said that or something. Damn, she's still alive. Anyway, though Salsa's situation is a lot more blunt and directly dangerous for his loved ones, it's similar to anyone who has a partner that relies on their income, or anyone who has children to take care of. Keep this in mind as we discuss the scene we're about to discuss. I don't want you to think Salsa is evil, rather he's been forced into perpetuating evil like so many are to this day. Empathy convinces us we deserve to be exploited, and so we continue to exploit and be exploited in a vicious cycle of cruelty and suffering. The scene with this character that I'm referring to is almost worthless. It's a cruel, agonizing scene to witness, heightened by the fact that you have to be the one playing through it. That scene is one that I like to call Monkey's Delivery Service. It doesn't have an official name. Most scenes in video games don't have an official name, but that's the name of the song that plays during it, which is a fantastic piece of art in and of itself. Let me set the stage. Facade has acquired 4 happy boxes for Salsa to deliver to the residents of Tazmily Village that requested them, which is a way for getting them hooked onto his ideas. Salsa begrudgingly does as he's told, of course, and begins the arduous process of delivering these boxes to each person. Since these boxes are so heavy, you can't run while you're carrying them, so you painfully walk across the town at a very sluggish pace compared to the rest of the game. Did I mention you're on a timer? Well, of course I know I didn't, but I need a way to mention it. Facade says that if you can do it in under 20 minutes, then you'll get a luxury banana for your efforts. Rest assured, this is nearly impossible to do in under 20 minutes due to the agonizingly slow walk speed. This mind-numbing, menial labor represents something deeper. It's how it feels to live in this society as a wage slave, going through the motions as a quote-unquote unskilled laborer. The whole thing feels so melancholic and methodical. It's truly a powerful sequence in the sense that it doesn't have anything really powerful about it. It's so boring that it stands out. Of course, you don't even get the luxury banana if you do it in under 20 minutes. You just get shocked no matter what time it was, and Facade will pretend as if you were supposed to do it in under 2 minutes instead, which is definitely impossible. Earlier in this video, I mentioned the score that accompanies the scene, which is amazing. It's titled Monkey's Delivery Service, which is intended to contrast with the previous notable salsa theme, which is known as Monkey's Love Song. While both are depressing for different reasons within the context they are played, holy crap, this one hit me very hard. Here, let's have a listen. Originally, this was going to be the regular leitmotif of Tazmily Village, but for unknown reasons, the original Tazmily song was just not included in the final game. A more light-hearted version from Earthbound 64, what Mother 3 was originally going to be before a long and hellish development cycle, exists on the internet, though I'm not sure if it's official or fan-made. Anyway, before this change, the game would have intentionally compared this cheery version of the village to this slower, melancholic variation with more emphasis on dour brass that shows a slow corruption of the village. Brass in and of itself isn't inherently depressing, of course, but the sound of brass playing low notes just doesn't bode well for me for some reason. I'm not really sure how to describe it, I apologize. I'm not very big in music theory. What I do know is that this song makes me feel like I'm being forced to make a terrible decision. And that's exactly what is going on here. This decision is the final nail in the coffin to seal Tazmily Village's fate into becoming a capitalist nightmare. This song feels like the beginning of a slow, yet constantly accelerating descent into darkness. If it weren't for Plucky Salsa and the happy boxes that he delivered to the residents of Tazmily in these moments, it would have been much harder to convince the villagers to buy into these concepts. The fact that the people walked with smiling faces into their own doom through the happy boxes mirrors how corporations use propaganda to bring us to our own end in the real world. Using propaganda, we're led to believe that capitalism isn't killing our planet, that we have nothing to worry about in the future. The worst part is that the rich either don't care, or they're trying to convince themselves it's true too, as a means of coping. At the very end of the game, the world does, and the infinite expansion of capitalism cannot be satisfied, and it leads to total destruction. A grim reminder from a grim game. Mother 3 will always have a special place in my heart, and so much of it is due to the incredible political commentary that I've never seen another game do quite as well, aside from possibly Fallout New Vegas. Even then, New Vegas is a little too realistic for my taste in some areas, which leads to people misconstruing the messages often. Like, the fact that right-wing Fallout New Vegas fans exist says something about the work, though it says more about the mental acuity of right-wingers. The acceleration of capital leading to the end of the world is perfectly shown through Mother 3, and ultimately I think it's some of the best symbolism I've ever seen. Bluntness is not a bad thing, and I don't really know why it's considered one when it comes to storytelling. The worst part about this game is that it feels so real, and I feel so helpless against the tide of change, as most people do, I think. There's nothing that really can be done at this point anyway. It's depressing, but it's real. Honestly, knowing how Nintendo is as a corporation, I'm surprised that this game got released at all with the theming it has. A famously litigious and greedy, child-friendly company making a game all about the evils of capitalism and human avarice? Again, I'm shocked. And yet, I'm so incredibly glad. Mother 3 was a significant part of making me the person that I am today. If you've watched my video essay on video essays, you should know about this game and how it brought me both comfort and pain during a troubling time, so I won't go too much into it here. What I will go into, though, is that this monkey moment was what tipped me over the edge into hating capitalism. Seriously. Mother 3 makes a point of making most NPCs in Tazmily Village have their own unique sprite sheets and names. This really leads to the player getting attached to them over the first few hours of the game. Not only that, they tend to have new dialogue and reflective thoughts after every event in the story. These people I made sure to check up on every time I could to learn as much about them and their lives as possible were being slowly corrupted. Not only does Salsa get to see this corruption firsthand, but I did too, and you will if you play the game. The player does. And this game, even though it's fiction, helped me realize just how terrible people are in the world we live in, and how easily they can be led to the wrong choice. Stories can be very convincing tools. That's kind of why we have them in the first place. Frankly, this monkey moment was one of the most jarring experiences in my entire life, and one of the most powerful. Hopefully one day something can shock me like that again. This has been our Cagent Everlasting signing off. Thank you for watching.